Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. If you're new, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next time I post, the next time I go live. As you guys can tell from the title, today is going to be a lot more of like I'm giving you guys some tips as to how to get into nursing school. I'm also going to give you guys a nursing school update because today was admitted students day for the nursing school I'm going to, and I learned a bunch of new things, and I want to take you guys along with me on my journey. So I do want to be as transparent as I can be, because obviously there are certain things I probably will not say and disclose. One, for safety reasons, because obviously this is school I'm going to, and I don't need you guys to like try and stalk me, follow me, whatever. Granted, I don't think you guys would do that anyways. I'm not that important. But like I said, there are certain things I obviously will not disclose online just for safety reasons. But I do want to be as transparent because, one, when I was looking at PACE, which is the school I'm going to, at PACE for nursing school, there was not a lot out there about this school. And it left me like feeling, I don't know. I just want to learn as much about like the classes, the curriculum, how they structure things. And I couldn't find that online. So I want to be that person that when the future people are looking at this school and want to know, how is their admissions process? How is the program? How are the classes? How were how was the staff in terms of teaching? I want to like try to give as much information as I can, but still maintain, as much privacy as I can while doing that. Very long-winded intro, but I do want to get into the tips, especially for those who are looking to get into nursing school. Like, so this is not for while you're in nursing school, because obviously I have not started yet, but tips on how to get into nursing school. So the first thing I really want you guys to focus on if you're interested in nursing is your science GPA. So even if you're planning to go like the traditional route, you're going to go to like a 4-year school for nursing. If you're doing that, your first like 2 years are you doing your prereqs, your general gen ed classes that you need for your degree. But your science GPA in particular is extremely important. And I say science because even if you're not a science major, you're going to have to take science classes in order to satisfy for nursing. But you need to focus mainly on those prereqs that you need for nursing school, for your nursing program, because I know for traditional, you need to satisfy those prereqs before you can really be accepted into the nursing program. Making sure that you're doing really well. Most schools do have a certain letter grade that they will accept that and above, and nothing beneath it. For the school I'm going to, that was a B. I believe you need to get a B or B minus in every single one of the prereqs. So you want to make sure those classes, if none other of your classes, you're killing it. You are making sure you're going to lecture, you're on your ish, you're studying as much as you need to for those classes, and you're getting good grades. And I would really say you really want to make sure you're maintaining like a B and above. Like, even though I know some schools it is like a C, C plus, but really and truly, you want to make sure you keep as much of your options open. Because let's say you're someone that maybe you want to be able to apply to other places, right? You want to keep that being above. Because worst case scenario, let's say you decide to go to a different school, you want to transfer. If your school accepted a C plus, but the schools you want to transfer to are all like B's, B minus, and you only have C plus, they're not going to accept you. So try to get as high a grade as you can in those prereqs and just have a really strong science GPA overall. Like if you're like me and you decide to like pursue a completely different undergraduate degree and you're going back for nursing, if you're now taking your prereqs, this is really great because I feel like you can really decide how you want to take your prereqs. You can take them one at a time all together. I did some of my prereqs one at a time, which allowed me to do really well and just focus on that one course. So that really helped my application when I applied for nursing school because my science GPA was really high because most of my grades were like A's, A minus, you know. Not to brag, but that's genuinely how I was able to have such a high science GPA. But that's the first thing and the main thing you really want to focus on because that's what the school's going to look at as probably one of the main factors to accept you is your science GPA for those prereqs that you need. And if you're not aware, the prereqs usually are like stats, right? A statistics class, um gen chem, so general chemistry, the lowest level of chemistry you'll probably take. Then you have like microbio, anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. This is another one that's controversial. A lot of times, like microbiome, anatomy and physiology, some schools require that you need to take it with a lab. Some schools don't. Not every college offers A&P and microbiomes with a lab. Once again, if you're planning to apply to multiple programs, look into those requirements because if they require you to take it with a lab and the place you're taking it at does not offer the lab class, you're going to have to go take a lab separately, or you're going to have to retake that class at a different school so you can satisfy the fact that you're taking it with the lab. This is something I found out when I was taking A&P that like there were schools that you could take A&P without a lab, and I thought that was weird, but apparently that's a thing. So make sure you're being mindful of these things. I guess another thing I would really say is doing your research on the schools you're planning on applying to, the programs you're planning on applying to, and really understand their requirements. Because trust me, that was one thing when I was looking into it. The requirements for these nursing schools are all over the place. I really feel like it needs to be very streamlined as to what the requirements are for nursing school. But I at the same time I understand, but it's just annoying for the person applying because one school might have a short list of the prereqs that you need. Another school might be so much longer. Like there were schools I saw that had like 8 prereqs versus other school I saw that had like 4 or 5. I think one school had almost like 10 classes that you need to take. Like one was like you need to take sociology, you need to take uh bioethics class. Like I'm just like, like those type of things. I'm like, not every school requires that. Some schools require you to take nutrition. Not every school though, but every single school is going to require you to take like stats, gen chem, anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, and microbiome. Those across the board you're always going to see. Anything else I would say are like additional requirement that some programs kind of have. So just make sure you know what your program is asking you to take. So that's that. Okay, let's see. I did write things down so I would remember. Next thing I would say is having some experience. This is not a requirement, but I think it also does look really good on your application if you have some experience in the field, whether that's working as a CNA, a patient care technician, you worked as a medical assistant. If you have some hands-on experience in the field, or even just anything where you're working with you're working with kids, you're working with like people, like really working with them, like because I was a teacher, which kind of is a job that requires you to take care of someone in a sense because you kind of really have to take care of the kids when you are teaching. I also currently now work as a behavioral therapist technician. So that's once again, it's kind of like a caretaker role in a sense. So it doesn't necessarily have to be directly healthcare, but like if it's healthcare adjacent or it's something where you're really working with people, I feel like that's always a good thing. So if you can get experience in the field, whether it's shadowing, right, whether it's volunteering or actually working a job, some experience I think goes a really, really long way. Next one I will say is having extracurricular. I know you're probably thinking, if I'm studying to make sure my GPA is really well, if I'm working or get experience, the job and the volunteering, like to get experience, be counted under extracurricular, but you can also still have other extracurriculars outside of that that shows that you're just a well-rounded individual, that you're able to maintain your academic schoolwork and still enjoy life. I feel like schools do like individual who can demonstrate that capacity, because school is not your entire life, nor should it be. So that's always a good thing. It just shows that this person is able to balance and juggle multiple things while being successful academically. And that's what you always, as a, I feel like as a school, you want to see people who are going to do well in your program, who's going to make your school look better. Like, guys, I know sometimes like it's really hard because we're like, I just want them to accept me. But as these schools are looking at people saying, are they going to make our school look good? Are they going to increase our stats? Are they going to keep our stats at the same level that there are, if not better? Because the school is a business. They want to make sure they're going to keep attracting people. So if they just accept anyone and then like those people don't succeed, they don't pass their NCLEX when they take it the first time, that's going to make the school look bad and their reputation go down, right? And then less people are going to want to come to their school and they're going to be losing money. So when they're looking to accept students, they want to look at students who they feel will be able to complete their program, be successful in the program, and go on to pass their NCLEX as soon as they graduate, right? Like when they take it the first time, not having to take it multiple times. Because that first time pass rate is what they really be posting and boasting about. So you have to think like, does my application indicate to this school that I am a good candidate for succeeding in this program? And if you yourself think it's not, then what do you think the school's going to think? So that's one thing I need everyone to just be honest with yourself about when we're applying for things and we're not getting accepted. You have to be able to like reflect and be honest with yourself about these things that we might not be our strong point. So if you can do extracurricular things, sure, do it. But it's not a must. I think it looks good. Okay. Next point, and this is also something that I think people need to take seriously. Your letters of recommendation. Be very picky with who you ask to write your letters of recommendation, guys. I know sometimes it's hard when it's like they want academic recommendation letters and you might not be super close to the professor, but the way I think you should think about this, if you're doing really good in a class, especially if it's a science class and it's one of the prereqs that you need for nursing school, I would suggest you ask that professor. Even though you might not be close with them, but if you did really well in their class, odds are they probably know who you are, because not a lot of people do super great. So if you're doing really well, and when I say really well, I mean at least like B plus, A minus, and up, really and truly. Like, you don't want to ask a professor where like you're doing very minimal work and you're barely passing your class for a letter of recommendation, because some professors truly will not write you a letter of recommendation unless you're getting an A in their class. They will not write you a letter of recommendation. When I asked my microbiome professor last semester to write me my letter of recommendation, her first question to me, guys, I kid you not, was, what grade do you think you're going to get in this class? And I confidently responded, an A. And she's like, I think so too. So she's like, yes, I'll write you that letter. So, like that already shows me like she was not really willing to write a letter of recommendation for someone who would not be doing great in her class, because it'll look crazy. How am I recommending you for a nursing program and you got like a B minus in my class? What? Does that like that doesn't make sense. Like I can't really say like you're such a great student, like you did so well academically in my class and you would do great in like nursing school, med school, whatever it is that you're asking for, and you'd even do great in my class. It like, it does not make sense. And once again, like I feel like when I say this, it sounds harsh, but it's one of those things that when you're a very self-reflective person, it makes sense. Because why would you ask someone you're not doing well in their class to write you a letter of recommendation? I'm going to ask a professor I got like an A and A minus in their class to write me a letter of recommendation, because I'm like, yeah, she was a great student. She did so well in my class, like she did all of her work, someone who's really can speak to your work ethic. And I also think having a job write you a letter of recommendation also always looks good, because if a job can speak to your work ethic outside of school academic, that also looks really great. It doesn't even need to be like a job. Like I had someone who I babysat also um work with her in terms of like for church. Like I am part of like the youth department, so like I help organize and work with her with planning events and stuff like that. So like, someone who knows me personally and a little bit like, professionally in a sense, write me a letter of recommendation. So like really think about who can speak well and highly of your character as an individual and of your work ethic. So those are the people you want to write your letters of recommendation, because it's going to come across to whoever's reading that this person is really great, and that these people obviously think she's a great individual. So be so for real. Okay. And then with same thing with letter of recommendation, going to your personal statement. You want to have a really strong personal statement. You want to like really actually take your time writing your personal statement, and you want to make sure you're answering the prompt. This is one that's like, it also goes, depends on the school, depends on what your school is asking you to write in your personal statement. Some school have like specific prompts, like, oh, name a challenge you overcame, or some of them is like, tell me about yourself, why you want to go to nursing school, why this school in particular. So I remember when I did for grad school and for the nursing school I applied to, part of both prompts was why this school in particular. So this is the point of your personal statement where you want to hype them up about their school. Like they know about their school, but they want you to tell them what you know about that school as to why you choose it, right? So this is like where you can be like, oh, this school is ranked blah 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 in the nation. That's why it caught my interest, right? This school is known for research, and I want to do research maybe in the future. Whatever you know about the school, you want to hype them up if that's part of their prompt, because that's literally, trust me, guys, that's literally why they put it in there as a prompt, because they genuinely want to know how much time did you spend researching our institution, our program, how we run things in before you actually decide to apply. Because if you can't really tell them why you want to go to their school, why should they pick you to come to their school? You clearly don't know enough about it to really want it, right? So be intentional when writing your personal statement. Really make sure you understand the prompt that they give you for it and that you're answering it. Because if you're not answering what the prompt is, do you think you're really going to want to sit and read your personal statement? Obviously not. So that's something to think about. Also, especially for nursing school, do have a valid reason why you want to become a nurse. Like, I feel like the generic answer for that is always like, I want to help people. But I feel like you can make that sound a lot better than just like, I want to help people. And like, just be honest with your answer. Like for me, it was very interesting because I did talk about why I wanted to become a nurse in my personal statement, but like, because I'm switching careers, I talked about how at first growing up, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but life happened, bounced around different careers, and now I'm deciding to go back to school for nursing because it's similar in line with wanting to be a vet, like helping and caring for someone, something, an animal or human, right? Different, but still in a similar vein. But like, really just be honest, because it can be very easy to tell when someone is not being honest and truthful with stuff like that. So that's really my tip. Personal statements are annoying and they're hard, and I hate every single one I've ever had to written in my entire life. But I've gotten into, well, for undergrad, I'm not even going to think about undergrad, right? Because I applied to so many undergrads and did get accepted to a lot. But I got into Johns Hopkins because I felt like I wrote a really good personal statement, and now I got into Pace. So like, I've gone to two school post undergrad, and I really feel like my personal statement definitely was one of the things that helped me to be a little different than everyone else and help my application stand out a bit. So make sure you're taking it seriously, you're putting in the effort with writing it. I will also say, with personal statements, I like having other people's read it over, ask other people for like feedback, opinions on it. I think I asked like a couple friends, and a couple like friends, my mom, I read it to my siblings, and literally take their feedback, because sometimes it can be hard to take feedback from people with stuff like that because it is very personal. But be open to feedbacks and suggestions, because hopefully these people are trying to help you, not like tear you down or shame you about what you're saying. And this is also why being honest, because if you are lying and then you ask someone to read it, they're gonna probably be looking at you sideways like, why are you lying in this, right? But those are all my tips, guys, right? Making sure your science GPA is high, and trying to like do really well for your science GPA overall, very important. Getting some hands-on experience if you can, having some extracurriculars, and having your some strong letters of recs and a strong personal statement. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and now I'm going to give you guys update for me for nursing school. If you guys are not aware, I'll be attending Pace University starting in the fall. So today was admitted students day, and it was interesting because now I know like kind of what my general schedule is going to be like for the fall. I'm going to be taking 5 classes, and I'll be doing 2 clinicals throughout the semester. So one of the clinicals is going to be for a psych unit, and that's only going to be for like half the semester, which I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. It's only half the semester. And then the other one I believe is going to be the entire semester. So each week is going to be 2 days of classes, 2 days of clinicals, and then I'll have 1 day off in the week. I'm really hoping that day off is like a Monday or a Friday, so I can have 3 day weekends every week. Because, I feel like that would be nice to have 3 days of like continuous like break, or 3 days of like I can be able to study without like, oh, I have a day off like in the middle of my week and then I have class the next day. I feel like you won't really enjoy it because I'll probably be tired from the day before, and then I also have to go to bed early because I have to go to school the next day. You know what I mean? So I would really like if that day that I have off is a Monday or a Friday. That would be really nice. Really, if I'm really, really, really get what I want, It will be the Monday. I would rather take the Monday. I'm not even going to hold you. I would really rather take the Monday. So that's what my schedule like for right now. That's what I know about it. I also know one of my classes will be online, which very happy about that cuz I hate having to sit in really long lectures. So I like the fact that that class is online and is asynchronous, meaning you're not online the same time the professor is doing it. You're just watching like mostly pre-recorded lectures, I'm going to assume then. So that's nice. So that's very much a go at your own pace. So I do like that. One class might be hybrid, so one maybe an in-person class one day and an online class the next. We'll see. I'm hoping that one also just goes to being completely online because trust me, I want to be my bed, guys. I really do. So that's the schedule. Um, the other stuff is more like I have to do a CPR class the day before classes officially starts. I have to do a CPR class. I have to do an FIT testing. I really don't even know what that means. All I know, it has something to do with like taking measurements for N95 mask. That's all I know. If anyone knows what that means, maybe I need to Google it because I don't know what it means. But gotta do that. Over the summer now, before classes starts, like there's obviously all the have to do a drug screening, which if you're not aware, I think everyone should know this. Like most med school, like PA school, anything where you're working in like a hospital setting, they do usually, actually not they do usually, they all require you to do a drug screening. I remember when I was in like high school and I volunteered at the hospital, I was like 14, 15, they made me do a drug screening. And little old me was like, that was wild because I didn't think that was something I would have to do because I was just like a kid in my head. But yeah, anytime you're working or have to like work in a hospital setting, healthcare setting, really, they always require you to do a drug screening. The thing with my school, they're making us do it with their vendor, so we can't just do it with our regular doctor. I guess probably like people try to lie or probably try to like make up stuff, like fabricate this. So we had to do it with their vendor, which is annoying because I had to pay and I don't got money like that to be paying these things. But that's that. What else? So like drug testing, background checks, standard. I'm not stuff like that's always standard, so like not super concerned. I do have to order like my nursing kit. So the way the school is, all the stuff that you're gonna be using for your labs and basically whatever you're gonna be doing for labs, you need to buy in advance because we're going to be using it like first week. We're starting off learning like the basic fundamental skills, like taking vital signs, head to toe assessments. I think they said we'll be learning how to do like injections, so you need to have the kit first day of class. But that's, I will be ordering in the summer because it's not available to us yet. Like it's annoying because they're telling us you need to do these things, but wait, it's not available yet. So I'm just like, and personally, I'm one of those people, I like to be prepared. I like to be hella prepared. I'm very much on top of my stuff. Like, I will like buy things as soon as it's ready. So I'm just like waiting for that to be available for me to purchase it. I did buy my first pair of scrubs. I don't know if I posted the video with me in them. It is also the thumbnail for this video was my scrub. So like I'm planning to order another set because I really want a scrub jacket, guys. I really, really and truly want it. Like there's this one I've been eyeing, and you can only like my school, you can only buy the scrubs that they offer. They're not too bad. The prices aren't too bad, but like they're just like there's so many other options out there, and I can only buy the scrubs you're selling, ghetto. But I do want to order another set of scrubs, which I'll probably do that soon because I know the set I want. I want the scrub jacket. The scrub pants I got, they're like joggers and they're like really tight, like on my thighs and butt area, and they're small. And the waist, like when you look at the back, you know when you have pants on and your waist and your ass don't match up, so like you have that space. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And they have a drawstring, and even when I tie it as tight as it can, like there's still some space because they're so tight on my thigh. So I want to get like just like straight leg ones. Hopefully those fit better. So I definitely am going to be doing that soon. What else did I learn today? I feel like there were like a lot of people asking so many questions, and it was like some of the questions were good questions. A lot of people want to know about clinicals. Like I already know for clinicals, like it is gonna be what it is. I'm just gonna have to wait and see where they put me. Like, because people are like, can I request where? I'm like, I no, we cannot request where we go for clinicals. Like, be so for real, because everybody in the program was out here requesting. Like, they would have to get so many different sites. You're just going to be, we're gonna be in like groups, and they're gonna pick one that's like try to make it as close to where you live as possible. I live in Queens, kind of. I live actually around a couple hospitals. I don't live too far, but I'm just hoping and praying like I don't have to like go someplace where I need to like go across like a bridge, right, and have to pay a toll. Like it's not someplace that like it's super inconvenient for me to get there. So I'm just gonna really pray and hope for the best where that's concerned. I'm trying not to stress out too much about it because I can't do anything now, and they don't know where they're placing us now. So it is what it is. So I didn't really have too much questions about that. Like they don't really know anything about clinicals yet, where they're placing us. So that's going to be like later information. They did tell us we will be registered for class by the end of May. So I will be very excited to see like what time classes will be starting. Because if you guys aren't familiar with where Pace University is, it's in Manhattan. It's in New York City, like the city, Manhattan. I live in Queens. My plan as of right now, and probably will stay the plan, is to take the bus and train to get to classes. And that's a long commute, right? That's like probably, I haven't really looked at the time frame, but I'm guessing it's probably around like 2 hours of a commute. I do also want to see if I can potentially take the LIRR, if that would cut my commute down. It would cost me more money, but it might be something I'll be willing to do on like certain days, like maybe not everyday thing, but like days where I'm like being lazier. So I do need to look into like what the commute would be like for classes, but also waiting till I get my class schedule because so I know exactly where on the campus I will be. So that's that. Yeah. Um that's pretty much about it. Like other stuff is just like boring admin stuff that I have to do. Like I need to go to the doctor, get a physical. Boring, boring, boring. Um yeah, but honestly, I'm excited to buy like cute stuff for nursing school. Like to buy like my well, I'm not really planning to buy like physical books unless I really have to, because I mainly take my notes like on my iPad here, my best friend, pretty much. Like, and I have like two different note taking apps that I do use. So I use Notability and Good Notes because I can load my PDFs into it. This is what I did when I was taking my prereqs over the summer and the fall. I would just upload and I can write on them as the professor is speaking. So that to me is probably like better than like handwriting my notes. I feel like that's unnecessary, and I will not do it if I don't have to do it, really and truly. So that's pretty much the update, guys. And I need to find the money to pay for it. But that's like, that's a worry I'm trying not to think about because it's crazy expensive. It's around 25K a semester. Where that money's coming from, only God knows right now. Yeah, only God knows. I don't know, but God does. And I'm trusting that the Lord will provide. So, if y'all want to help a girl out, by all means, I'm not turning it down. Y'all can ask for my Cash App, my Zelle, my PayPal in the comments if y'all want to help me out. But for real, I will catch you guys in my next one. Hopefully this video was helpful or you just learned something about me. Either way, bye guys.